This lady said, Chaplain, I'm Mrs. So-and-so, I'll not mention her name. You'll know who she is. And she said, I am the chairman of the Republican Party of California who introduced Ronald Reagan to the Republican Party, whereby he became president of the United States of America. I said, congratulations. We have not had a single president of the United States of America since Ronald Reagan that has not been an elitist. Did you hear me? Ronald Reagan was not one. Oh no. Now, just wait till you hear the story. The lady said, Chaplain, I was at the hotel that night when Ronald Reagan was to choose his vice presidential running candidate. She said, I was there with them. And she said, Ronald Reagan came to us personally, his close friends, and said, I promise you, I will not choose an elitist as my vice presidential running candidate. And he said, I know that George Herbert Bush is one, and I know Mr. Kissinger is one, and he said, I promise you, I will not choose them as my vice presidential running candidate. He chose Bush. He came to this lady the next day who was the one that introduced him to the Republican Party. And he said, I'm going to have to apologize. He said, I'm very sorry. He said, Bush was there, Kissinger was there. He named a few other people in the room, and I was there. And he said, I was told that either I chose Mr. Bush as my vice presidential running candidate, or they would smear me with the media all over this nation and guaranteed me I would never become the president of the United States of America. And he said, I had to make a choice, either to accept Mr. Bush, whom I knew is an elitist, or to become the president and try to help America. I had a choice, and I had no choice. And he said, I knew they could do it. And he said, I chose Mr. Bush so that I could help America for 8 years. I was watching the morning news a while back. I very seldom ever watch the morning news. And who do you think I saw? Now, this happened personally. And who was being interviewed? Daddy Bush. And finally they came to the end of the interview, and the person said, Mr. Bush, I need to ask you one last question. Do you ever watch the morning news? Mr. Bush spoke up and said, no. You know how you can do it. He's a very curt person anyway. He said, no, I never watch the morning news. Well, the newscaster was really taken back a step. She had to hesitate for a moment, and finally she said, well, Mr. Bush, why don't you watch the morning news? And he said, because I already know what it's going to be. Please, folks, view all 3 of these DVDs. The third